Anybody here from Howe? What about Manuel? So our first two guests are from New Jersey. One of them is a member of our dfree team. Her name is Jasmine Walden. She happens to be our marketing manager at dfree. And then our next guest, anyone ever heard of Quality Control? Migos? Oh, okay. So we have someone who works with them at Capitol Records. She is an international urban marketing manager at Capitol Records. And she is a person who works with all of the people that we hear every day on the radio, see on TV. But behind all of that, there is a business that helps all of that function. So the next voices you will be hearing from is Miss Cayla Cousins and Jasmine Walden.
Cayla works with some of the top artists that we listen to every day.
Yes.
So tell us about that dream job and what a typical week looks like for you.
Okay, so yes, I work at Capitol Records, which is also underneath Motown Records, Quality Control. Who knows Coach K? It's actually his hometown. So I handle international marketing. So that means I work Migos, Lil Baby, Leighton Green, City Girls, Queen Naija. I work their music around the world. So in every country outside of the US. So this summer I was with Migos and Lil Baby and Lil Yachty in London for a festival called Wireless Festival. So I produced a pop-up for them. So we did merch, they did an appearance. I had a McLaren and a Lambo riding around London with the QC logo. So just doing activations like that, and then also my day-to-day is, I have to get in super early, because in Los Angeles, 9 a.m. is 5 o'clock in London. So imagine if I'm running late, I'm hustling into the office by 10 o'clock, and I try to start my day, the rest of the world is sleeping. Oh, they're ready to leave the office. So I really have to get in the office early. That means even before I'm in the office, I'm checking emails, but trying to get the music played on the radio, trying to get, magazine covers, all that good stuff.
That's lit. Clap for Cayla. That is a lit job. So tell us how you got that job.
So I got that job. That job actually came to me. I have been working since Forever 21, that next summer, I wanted to go harder. I was watching Top Model and, all these shows, and I wanted to be there. So I just did the research and started cold calling people. So from 18 until, 28, I just kept leveling up in my jobs.
Say it again, Cayla. You kept what?
Leveling up.
Okay.
Hashtag
level up.
Hashtag level up. But I worked smart, I worked hard, and my work spoke for itself. So when Capitol needed to hire people, my friends actually, they started their own joint venture with Capitol Records, a digital marketing venture. And when Quality Control came over to Capitol Records, when they signed to them, they were like, wait, we need cool people working here. And I'm honored that they thought I was cool enough to be there, but they basically just called me and said, hey Cayla, would you move to LA? Because I was in New York. And so, it's September 27th, October 3rd of 2017, I moved to LA and I started working the next day. I've been there ever since.
That just speaks to, when you show up and show out places, people will remember you, and when it's an opportunity, it will arise, and she took it. So yes. Shout out to you.
Thank you.
So in the hip hop culture, it is encouraged to ball out, right?
Yes.
We want the red bottoms, we want the bags, we want the chains, we want all that.
Yes.
So how do you stay grounded, financially grounded, with so much temptation?
prayer. No. It's hard. I've definitely, because I do international, I've been in London in the Dior store with Lil Baby when he's, going through racks. And I've been with Migos in the, Balenciaga in Paris. And I'm just standing there like, well, this is fun. This is fun, touching stuff. But for me, I don't feel the need to keep up with the Joneses. And even in living in Los Angeles, there's a lot of cars. Everyone has the newest everything. And I stay reasonable within myself because I know if I splurge on something, I'm not trying to eat cat food for the next, month. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to live comfortably and show up to dinners and be able to, help my mom out, help my family. So for me, it's just being realistic and, it'll come and I'll be able to spend on something and I'll not be able to feel it. That's when I know I've arrived. When I can just, okay, let me get that bag and just like, I didn't feel it, and when my bank account didn't feel it, that's what I mean.
So to that point, you and I know this, right? Social media is an influence that makes us want to spend money, not just social media, but advertising too. So tell us about the influence of social media and how we can combat that so we're not wanting everything we see.
So this actually just happened recently to me. I was at one of my friend's house and they had invited one of their homegirls over and she brought this box in. And I'm like, oh, like, cute. You went shopping at Pretty Little Thing. She's like, oh, no, girl, they sent me this. And she's just, for 5 minutes, she's just unboxing stuff, taking stuff out. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So all these influencers, they really are being sent these products to speak to you so you go buy it.
For free. They get it for free.
For free. So when you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, they have the newest thing. I'm going to go buy it. I'm going to go buy it. That means you're falling for that trap. And for me, I have a different type of approach. Like what really helps me is a minimalist style and just minimalist lifestyle. So I can buy a pair of jeans and wear it for 2 years because they're always going to be in style. Or I can buy a staple jacket like this and I can wear it to dinner. I can wear it to the office. I can wear it somewhere like here. These shoes have lasted me 2 seasons and I don't feel the need to go out and buy another one because until the heel breaks, I'm just keep rocking out. But definitely, in terms of social media, it's really hard. And sometimes you just need to put the phone away, or just comment, oh my God, I love this. And then another thing too, with social media, if you do comment, you love it, and then as you start to get older and have friends that work at these companies, they'll send you stuff for free. So I have girls at Puma, I have girls at Nike. If I just, we're friends and, oh my God, I love your sneakers, so cute. Next month, I got a pair of Nike Air Max Swarovski crystals. I'm like, oh, thank you, and I'll wear those till the diamonds fall off. But definitely as you get older and you start to become, you become in that space, there are people that will look out for you, and that's a blessing in itself.
In dfree, we have 3 things called the 3 C's: compensatory spending, conspicuous spending, and confused spending. And for the sake of time, I'm going to give you the answers. So, conspicuous spending is spending to keep up with the status, meaning that I have to look a certain way, I have to dress a certain way, I have to have Nikes, I have to have Jordans, I have to have all of those things in order to feel good about myself. Therefore, I spend just to keep up with the status. Then we have compensatory spending. Compensatory spending means I need to compensate. I need to feel valued. So anyone ever have a bad day and just say, okay, I need to go out and buy myself something to eat. I'm going to splurge and get ice cream. I'm going to do retail therapy just to make myself feel better. So compensatory spending is compensating for how you feel, and you spend money based on that. And then we have confused spending. Y'all taking notes? Because we're going to give away prizes. Confused is, I walk into a store, I have $10, and I come out and I don't know where any of my money went. So anytime you are feeling confused about why you're spending to keep up with the status because of what other people will see on you, or to compensate for how you feel, you should keep your money in your pocket.
Hey y'all, what's up? This is Karleen Roy, founder and CEO of the Vanity Group, and I am here with dfree, trying to secure the bag. Entrepreneurship to me means being innovative, coming up with an idea, creating a business and operating a business based off whatever you create. It could be the new car wash down the block, it can be the barbershop up the street, the whatever it is, you create it, it's your business, you run it. And with balling on a budget, that is how I live my life. And I've always lived my life, especially with entrepreneurship. A lot of people, you don't have all the money. And in the beginning, you don't have it at all. So you really need to be cost conscious. You need to be thinking about containing wealth, not just spending it because you have it. I always say the best test for an entrepreneur is actually being an entrepreneur. You will learn how to budget like you never have before, because you're not getting paid every 2 weeks. Whether you have a terrible week or a great week, you're not getting paid every 2 weeks. You eat what you kill when you are a business owner. My biggest accomplishment is actually doing it. It's one thing to sit in your house or sit in your kitchen and have an idea, but it's another thing to actually do it. I'm all about small wins. The fact that we have an office, the fact that I pay people every 2 weeks, when just 5 years ago, maybe I didn't have the capital to do that. So that is an accomplishment for me, just actually being here, existing, and thriving with my business. My grounding principle, or my principle that keeps me grounded, is that it's bigger than me. The Vanity Group is bigger than me. I have a team, I have families that are dependent on me. I have a staff that needs to pay their rent. They need to buy groceries. They need to eat based on me being a present, efficient boss. So that is what keeps me grounded, that it's bigger than me, and hopefully the work that I do, that there will be some lasting legacy in my world, in my industry.
So I'll tell you guys, you guys are in high school, right? So I was right around your age. I was in 9th grade, and there was a man that came to my school. I don't know if you guys know anything about Harlem, but in Harlem, there's a lot of, especially in my school, was a mainly African-American based school. So I saw this gentleman in my school, a handsome, older white man, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, I'm the CEO of the Gap, Mickey Drexler, and I'm here to check out your school and see how I can help. And I'm like, you're the CEO of the Gap? I love the Gap. Now, when I was young, I don't know if you guys are excited about the Gap, but when I was young, we loved the Gap. I wore a uniform, but only the kids that had money could afford Gap uniforms. I had like one Gap shirt. So I was like, I love the Gap. And I was like, I only got one shirt, that's all we can afford from the Gap. And I was like, your clothes are too expensive. I was like, but I love the Gap. And I was like, one day I want to have a whole Gap uniform. And I just started talking to him about how much I love the Gap, but you just have to work on your price points, because they don't work for a 9th grader like me. And he's like, well, I'm going to take that into consideration. I didn't even realize that my white shirts could be worn in uniform schools. And I'm like, yeah, we can wear them. I said, you need to just let us wear only Gap uniforms in this school, because we would be better than any other school. So we had this conversation randomly in the hall while I was supposed to be in class. And by the end, I went to class. By the end of the day, I got called back downstairs, myself and another young man. And he invited us to have courtside seats at the Knicks game. So we went to the Knicks game that night, and I got picked up in a limousine. Now, I lived in Grant Projects. You guys got projects out here?
Yes. They do.
Little something, something. Okay, well, projects in New York are real in the field, okay? And I had a limousine pick me up. So everybody was like, what? So lesson one is sometimes manners and being nice can open up doors that money just cannot. So make sure when you're in the hallways and you see new faces, you say hello. Make sure you speak. Make sure you engage. And then also make sure you get your elevator pitch right. You guys know what an elevator pitch is? No? A little bit? So an elevator pitch is 60 seconds of what you need, who you are, and what you want. So every person that you meet that you feel like can elevate your career or elevate your education, you got 60 seconds to grab their attention and tell them, hi, my name is Yandy Smith. I love fashion. I love the Gap. My 60-minute pitch, my 60-second pitch was telling him how much I love the Gap, can't afford it, but I would love to be able to wear Gap uniform schools. The following week, Mickey Drexler contacted the principal in the school and decided that he wanted to build a Gap store within the school, wanted to fill it up with all uniforms, white shirts and blue skirts, or blue pants for the guys and ties, and wanted me to be the manager in the Gap store at my school. Boom. And that was really the start of my history with work. I then got an internship in the corporate office in public relations for the Gap. I stayed there until I was a senior. I was probably an average student. I got somewhere 70, 80 average, which isn't great. I tell my kids now we want 90s or better. But at my graduation, they called me to the stage and I was like, I'm not getting awarded for anything. Why am I coming to the stage? I was receiving a scholarship to Howard University from the Gap. Thank you very much. But this all started because I said, hello. This all started because I engaged in a conversation with someone that wasn't from my neighborhood, didn't look like me, wasn't in my age bracket, didn't dress how I dressed, but I knew that this was someone that could possibly help me elevate because he was in my school, in a business suit, and my principal was swooning all over him.
And now you could probably buy a couple Gaps. How about that? So Yandy, you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
You got Yale, EGL. You're the longest lasting female on the Love and Hip Hop New York franchise.
Isn't that crazy?
Go girl.
Thank you.
So you got mad hustle. You could have quit a long time ago. So tell us why it's important to have more than one hustle and why you go so hard.
Well, I never really set out to be a millionaire, but once you touch your first million, it's like, oh, I kind of like this.
Girl, talk that talk.
Right. So really to be a successful millionaire, it's important to have several streams of income. And what you want to do is diversify your portfolio, which means you want to have businesses in several different fields. So I have a hairline, which is called Yale Beauty. I have a skincare line, which is called Yale Skincare. I have TV shows that I produce. The first one happened to be Love and Hip Hop, and then I became a cast member on Love and Hip Hop. And then I've co-produced movies, and I've been an author as well. So there is a full gamut of things that I've done. But the thing wasn't to chase money for me. I really was chasing passion. I was really trying to find what is it that I love to do. So when I started out in music, because that's where it all started for me, after the Gap, I interned all through college, went to the corporate office, lived in San Francisco. By the time I was graduating college, I was like, I didn't do any of the interviews. They used to have different businesses come to my school. And I was like, I'm going to work for the Gap. I already got that in the bag. I'm good. When I was leaving my senior year, the CEO left the company, and the program called the Retail Management Program that I came up under left with him. So I was like, what am I going to do now? Because I didn't want to go work for the Gap and start at an entry level. So I started interning in music. And I was a really good intern. And that led me to travel the world with Missy. Anybody know Missy Elliott? Anybody know Busta Rhymes? LL Cool J? Anybody know 50 Cent? A little bit. So I worked with all of these artists. And I realized that the most successful of artists were not just artists. So they had car dealerships, they were into real estate, they had several different hustles, they would do bookings, club bookings, speaking engagements. And that's when I realized as an intern, I wanted to diversify my portfolio. I wanted to have several different income streams. So that is very important when you are trying to be a hustler and you're trying to be in business. You don't want to get pigeonholed or stuck in just one space, because sometimes, like, if I would have just did the Gap and all I would have known is merchandising and production for little boys' tees, I would have been stuck. I would still be figuring out life, and I would have started at an entry-level position. But I learned early on that you need to have several different income streams to really be successful, because sometimes certain things just don't work out. 2 years ago, I had a clothing line. It was called Smitten by YS. And then I wanted to open up a store. I did research. I'm like, well, if I can't sell online the way I want to, it doesn't really make sense for me to open up this store and pay all this money, pay all this rent. So I decided the clothing business wasn't for me for right now. And sometimes you have to make those decisions about different careers you get into. But the only way you can make those decisions is if you have a fallback plan, which might be another business.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk about Yale, right?
Yes.
So it's beauty and hair industry. Tell us how, as an entrepreneur in that industry, how do you set yourself apart from the competition when it's so saturated?
Sure. So there are trillions of dollars in beauty and hair across the field with all ethnicities. Trillions of dollars. And I felt like I want to break into this industry. A little piece of that is mine for the taking. So I started in hair, and what I started was doing, it was a super oversaturated market when I got into it, but most people were selling 7A to 9A hair. I wanted to go very luxury, so I did 10A hair, and then not only did we do 10A hair, we did hair with all African, like Cape Verdean hair, Egyptian loose curl. Everyone had Brazilian, everyone had, you know, like all of these European terms or whatever, European straight. We did all African. That was a market that was our own. We didn't hear about that. Moroccan curl, Egyptian this, Cape Verdean that. So that was something that really appealed to a particular market that was successful for us. And then on the skincare side, that kind of came from a personal thing for me. When I started doing the show, I broke out really bad. I had hyperpigmentation, dark spots, acne, dry skin, oily skin on the outside. I went to Sephora like, listen, I have all these different issues. They just started throwing things in the bag. As they threw all this different stuff in the bag, I went to the register and it was $598. I said, now who can afford every 30 days, $598 worth of skincare? So that's when I realized there was a void in the market for reasonable, and then all the stuff I was getting was heavily chemical based. Nothing was all natural, plant based. So I said, and everything that I was getting, all the pictures were of people that didn't look like me. So I realized that there was a void in the market for really affordable skincare that was marketed to a woman like me, that was a working woman, that looked like this, and I said, I am going to fill that void. And then I thought because I was on a TV show, it would be easy to sell. I had the TV show follow me throughout this process. That didn't do it. That did not sell my product at all. I'm like, I got this huge platform, I got 5 million followers, this is gonna be great. I did not, so I released that line in March of 2018, 2018, and I didn't sell my first real product until November. And I'll tell you why. I realized just putting up a flyer promoting my skincare or telling people the information about skincare did not sell my product. What I had to do was literally get in front of the mirror, show that I had dark spots, show that I had a pimple, and say, watch me work. And then I would put on music, you know, wash my face. How many of you follow me?
And you be singing.
Yeah, some of you follow me. So I would put on the music, get to dancing, cleaning my face, and when I did that, and I was singing and dancing and, you know, showing how to work the product, $1,000 in sales, $2,000 in sales, $6,000 in sales. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get in front of this and dance more often.
You gotta be the brand.
I gotta be the brand. And then I started to do these videos because that's what really started to sell my product. But the only way I was able to figure that out is I had to know my market. I had to figure out really what my market wanted to see. And then when I found something that worked for my market, stick to it. So now if you follow me, which all should, it's Yandy Smith on Instagram and Twitter. Now, that's what I do. Once a week or twice a week, I try to do these videos because it's what sells the product. And then even when I hire ambassadors, I'm always telling the ambassadors, it's so important to post these videos because that's the only thing that's gonna sell the product.
You wanna see?
Sure.
So, you know, a couple years ago, Howe made it popular, the term generational wealth, and it's like, everybody loves it, we throw it around so loosely, but it's something that's more important than just a cute thing to say. So why do you think, especially in urban communities, that generational wealth is so key?
Generational wealth is very important because it's what sets up your great-great-great-great-grandbabies, right? So a lot of people in other communities are really good at this. The Jewish community is amazing at setting up generational wealth. You know, they have trust accounts. They have, you know, grandpa owned this business, left it to the daughter, who left it to her son, and left it to someone. And they really embrace this family way of entrepreneurship, which I think is amazing. I think for us, we are so close to just coming off of Jim Crow, just coming off of, you know, all of the things that kind of held us back from really, as a family, taking care of each other, it's always kind of been, is this only enough space for me? Is there only enough space for this?
You gotta survive first.
There's only enough space for this one person. So I gotta make sure I eat. I gotta make sure my immediate family eat. I can't think about the family that comes after my immediate family because I'm barely struggling to make sure this household eats. And I think finally a lot of us are in the urban communities first-time millionaires. We are first-time, college graduates that are really able to give back to our communities. And that's why it's so important for me and a lot of my philanthropy work with high school children that I work with, teaching them about the importance of developing a brand, making sure that when you do get to where you are in your career, turn back. Turn back and help someone else get there so that our communities can start to really create the generational wealth that we need to really be successful as a people.
And your oldest daughter is a high school student, so
Yes.
why do you think it's so important for us to have these conversations starting now? Because our parents didn't talk to us about this.
No, they didn't. Well, just for me personally, like I told you about my story, my career started in 9th grade. And that has really been what has shaped my path throughout my life. It has been something that, learning just the fundamentals of being in the corporate space, learning business etiquette, how you talk in a meeting, how you sit. Sometimes you need to be a fly on the wall when your boss is there. Sometimes you need to take out your notepad, take notes. This is when you use your computer. This is when you use this. Those things have really shaped my path in this business, but it started really when I was in 9th grade. I learned how to have integrity. I learned how you dress when you walk in. I learned how you speak, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And I think that now, a lot of times, we take high school for granted. We meet so many, I'm sure in this school or in your schools, you have different professors there that have expertise in certain fields. You have different people that come into workshops, instructors that come on board, and it's just like, here's another person to teach me. This is boring. But instead, it would be really good for you to introduce yourself to some of these instructors. Find out, so before you became a teacher, what were you doing? Or what are you doing outside of teaching here? Are you also, do you do this? Do you do that? Because there might be a way for you to build a relationship for your future with who you have right in your home base.
I hope you guys are listening. Y'all probably should have some notepads out right now.
High school, I'm telling you, it's so important to start taking things serious right now. It is imperative. If you guys, how many of you have internships? Not too many of you. How many of you work on the weekend? Any of you working now? A lot of you. Okay. So even at your job, it's important for you. This is your job. This is the start of your career. This might be the very moment that you meet someone that your boss, your associate, one of the older staff members, one of the executives might see you there, and they're like, I see potential in this 9th grader. I want to pay for this 9th grader to go to college because I want to prepare them for management, to work in this organization. But they're only going to know that if you go to work, you show up on time, you're amazing when you get there, you're smiling, you're nice, you're helpful. So you want to make sure that you're starting to do that now. It's imperative.
So like you said, I know your career started when you were in the 9th grade, and I'm sure we probably had some aspiring entrepreneurs. Give them your top 3 pieces of advice when opening or starting, building a brand, being an entrepreneur.
So I think that you should absolutely chase passion and purpose more than you chase money. When you chase what you love to do and you figure out what your purpose is going to be in that space, you'll love going to work every single day. That's going to be important for you to keep true to this business. Then you want to figure out what your brand is. What is it that you do well? Is it a service you're providing, or is it a particular product? And then with that brand, how are you going to disrupt the market? What are you going to do? I'm in my mirror every single day, dancing and singing. It's so funny. Now artists are reaching out to me like, hey, can you use my song for your next Yale video? But it's like, what are you going to do to disrupt the market that, like, Oil of Olay is not doing that. Urban RX does not have people dancing in front of the mirror. Kylie Jenner, she ain't dancing in front of the mirror when she's washing her face. So what are you going to do with your brand that's going to disrupt the market, that's going to set you apart from everyone else? And then after you figure that out, this kind of go hand in hand. That's why it's still under 3. Who is your demographic? Who are you marketing to that wants to see your way of disrupting the market? Make sure you know who that is. What do they like to do? What do they do in their pastime? What's their age range? Where do they live normally? Are they in urban communities? Are they in the suburban areas? What do they drive? Do they drive? Do they walk? Do they listen to hip hop music? Do they listen to country music? Really intensely figure out who your core target demographic is and figure out how to market to them.